Hello everyone, my name is Yuh Egami. I'm one of the Ballet Masters of Hong Kong Ballet and welcome to our masterclass. Today we have a special guest, Dinna Bjørn from Norway, who is joining us. She used to dance in the Royal Danish Ballet as a prima, and then later she became artistic director of Finnish National Ballet and Norwegian National Ballet. Dinna is a distinguished Bournonville Répétiteur internationally, and today she is going to work with a James solo from Act 1 of La Sylphide. I would like to introduce our beautiful dancers who's going to dance for us today is Jack Dwyer. Jackson, please introduce yourself on the screen.
Hi, everybody at home. My name is Jackson Dwyer. I'm a dancer with Hong Kong Ballet, and I'm very happy to be here today and dance Bournonville. It's a very happy style, lots of jumping, so yeah, it should be good fun.
Well, I'm really delighted to have been invited to join this special coaching session, and I'm looking very much forward. I think it's so lovely when Bournonville is being danced all over the world. So the more the better. So I look really forward to this session. But I think maybe we should give Jack the chance to dance while he's still warm.
Yes, why not? Let's do this.
Thank you. Well, I know already, this was a lovely performance. I enjoyed it so much, and so much of the true spirit in it. I think the conductor was a bit fast, but I know you have a recording. So of course you need to dance to that recording, and it's fast. Just for me, maybe on the very fast side, and I think you managed that very well, still to be on the music and still really to get the variety of the big steps and the smaller steps. I was very impressed with that, and what I also liked right away was that you really know the open hands in your jetés, because that's something that, when you do the yes. Because if you are not so used to the Bournonville style, and I know that when I teach around the world, that this is something that's very difficult, because you're used to just to open the arms, but not opening from the wrist, to have that little opening on the wrist that gives like this very, that is characteristic for the Bournonville style, that you are giving. It's like a very generous style, I feel. You're giving your heart and your soul to the audience, and somehow with these open hands you include the audience, which I think is very important. Let me now see, because this is a coaching session, and there's always something one can work on to make it better. And I'm of course thinking mostly of things that has to do with the style, because I can see you're an excellent dancer, so you have no difficulties dancing this solo, which is actually, we can say it's a normal classical solo. All the steps are well-known classical steps, but the way they are put together and the way you are coordinating your upper body with what the legs are doing, and the épaulements with the shoulders and head, that's what makes a style. So I think from the very beginning, we have a very interesting step there that is a Bournonville contretemps. Just try to do the step that you are starting with in the solo. So you're going this one, yes. Just the very first step that goes along the floor. And I think it's like a temps levé failli with the little beats. And sometimes it can be mistaken that one thinks it's a capriole which it's not. It's a traveling step. So when you beat and open your back leg again, it has to come quickly through. So it doesn't think of ending in arabesque. So it becomes even more of a traveling step. So you go one and you travel through. Yes, that's it. So this step is giving you the motion into the next step, which is then going up in the air. Two, yes, that's right. Because that step in itself, the first one is just a moving step and not an important step in itself. The most important step is, of course, the finishing point when you like put the dot over the I with that. And for that one, you could even have a little bit more épaulement. I mean, if you do it without a jump, try to feel that your body is curving, that you really make a curve of the upper body into that attitude. Yes, that's it. You see, it's just that little bit more that makes the style. That's right. Because, of course, you're thinking of getting up in the air. So you first have to get up, and then you have just to make that curve at the end of it. One and two and three and yes, that's so nice. Yeah, very good. And this was really nice what you did now, opening the arms slowly so they actually fill out the whole phrase, and then the head is moving from the back leg to the front leg while the arms are just doing their fluid movement down. You did that really well. And I have one more thing just to think about when you do the very first step. To use after your entrechat cinq, that then goes into your six-on attitude, that you use that landing as a takeoff. So it's not like landing and jumping, but it's like you land to take off. So that gets a little bit more of an accent on your six-on attitude. So you're gonna go and one, two, and go. Yes, that's it. Because then, very good. You feel, because then we get that second longer in the air, which is that's where we want to see that picture in the air. So it's just like a little phrasing thing, using that landing as your takeoff. And then with the arms, that was very good. And then of course it's the same to the other side. Then I was really happy to see that on the next step, this ballonnet piqué attitude, which is like a figure 8 on the floor, you were absolutely right on the music. I just mentioned that in case the people who are watching are also working on the solo themselves, because sometimes there is this mistake to think that the ballonnet is a quick ballonnet and you do your attitude on the counts 1 and 3. But actually the piqué attitude is on the counts 2 and 4. So you're going 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Yes, that's right. And you did it well. You did it absolutely right. But sometimes I see that you go and 1 and 2 and 3. That's another phrasing. And it could be like that, but it isn't. So just to know that the ballonnet can be a bit bigger. So it's not just a little preparation ballonnet, but it is a step of its own value. So just try to do that little one. So you go from your attitude, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Yes, just make really sure that you get in, that you finish your ballonnet with a yes. That you are really in the coup de pied there. That it's not sort of, yes, landing somewhere in the air. And 1 and 2, yes. That's nice, very nice, yes. So this was good. And it goes upstage around, and then you come forward on this. The same little thing there now when you do your grand jeté en avant in attitude, now, yes, coming forward there, which is such a typical Bournonville step. That's where you always see these pictures, yes. do the same little trick there. It's just a kind of a phrasing trick that open your hands on the top of the jump and not on the landing. You know what I mean? So it's like a little, you go one and then you land. So you have on the top of the jump your open hands. Yes, you see, it's again like this image that we want in the air to have the position already and not on the landing. Yes, that's so nice. Yeah. And this was also very good what you did. There are two versions here that I think are both right. Because the most important is the angle of the body. When you now do the next step, like you do the coupé jeté, either you open both arms, I think, as you did. Are you opening them both to the side? Yes. That's very good. The other one is that you actually, yes, like Yuh is doing now, you do it as a fourth position with a round arm in front. Yeah, but still in crossé. Okay. You see, and then what you did now, and that was actually very good because that was my point. When you do with that arm, people tend to get the wrong épaulement because then you go with the body and you still have to have the same épaulement that you had with the two open. The other way, you are leaning towards your right side and your right arm. You're looking to your right hand. And it's the same with one arm. Whatever you do, two arms or one arm in this one, you have the same épaulement in your upper body. Yes, that's right. So you go one over and then, yes, really nice. It's a lovely step, this, because the more you can use that épaulement in your coup de pied after your jeté. And now the body really goes in a curve. You do your glissade going up stage, and you try to stay as long as you can with the body there. You stay as long as you can, and then you come around. Oh, yes. That's very good. It's hard. It's a difficult step. 1 and 2 and 3. Yes, very nice. And then that was good. And the same again with that little trick of opening the hands 1 second earlier. One, 2, and 3. Yes. You know, I think it's something about bringing your arms down a little sooner. So when you take off with your front leg, your arms are already in your bras bas position to come up, so that they are not to the side, but they have, yes, that's a coordination. Yeah, that's right. Yes, yeah, you feel it? Yes. Right. And now one little thing, I don't know if it's a camera angle, but very often the audience is sitting a little lower maybe than the stage. So just watch that this arm, your right arm, is not too high. That it's still lower than your shoulder level. Yes. So where we really see your open chest and we don't have a hand in front of it. Yes. That's nice. That's very nice. Yes, very nice. And now, yes, then comes your last diagonal after that. And this last diagonal sometimes actually can speed up even faster than it is on this one. I have one correction there. And, well, actually I have two. But one has to do with the step. You're doing the brisé-volé, you're doing the ballonnet. Now you're doing a jeté, and now you're doing a glissade derrière. That should be derrière. You should close your right foot behind. That's right. And then you go again, yes. So you keep that kind of diagonal feeling on your, there, that's right. 2, 3, and going behind. Yes.
Okay.
It somehow makes it épaulement feel more right, because your head now, it's also your head. Now you go, the first one there. On your jeté, you should look to the back corner. You are there, and now you change it on your glissade. That's right. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yes. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and yes, very good.
Yes, you did it.
Yes. And then, of course, if you have a live conductor, he will be nice and look at you, so you don't need to rush that last pirouette, because ideally it should finish in fifths. And then you do, afterwards, you do your coup de pied behind, or your point behind. So it finishes fifth.
Before that last pirouette, would you just do a step out with kind of a pas de cheval to fourth? Or I've also seen some people, do you prefer like a little jeté?
I mean, I was gonna say originally, of course, I'm not original, I don't know what Bournonville did, but the way it has been passed on to me from my teachers is, and also what has been notated, because I have been studying a lot of Bournonville's own notations. This preparation is a jeté. So it is a jump in with coup de pied in front. That's right. So that's, in a way, that's your preparation. And then there is no second preparation in fourth. From there, you're just tombing into your pirouette.
Do we extend it before we tombe, or do we?
It has, of course, to extend in order to get down to, but not too much in the air, just to get into your fourth, yeah. I have seen also in some versions now, it's become a releve almost with yeah, that I have seen. According to notations from Bournonville, it's not, there is no releve there. It's the jeté, and then you tombe into the pirouette. Yes. So in a way, where, Jack, where it's good to feel you take your preparation, it's actually in the jeté. That's where you should somehow collect yourself, you're on your leg, everything, and then you just tombe into your pirouette. So take that moment for your coup de pied position. 1, and a go. Yes. Beautiful. And then if you have live music, then you will just have the time. I know you sometimes can get stressed at the end because it feels like it's so fast and you don't get a good preparation for your pirouettes. But psychologically, actually, it's better to take the time, because you can actually turn faster if you are right on your balance. And if you're a little off your balance, actually, then the pirouette takes longer. So take your time for that little preparation there to find that you are on balance. Down, and then go. Yes, that's right. That was really, really, really nice, I must say. I think the last diagonal, it's hard for me now to see really the spacing when I just look at the screen. But I mean, it should travel. You should try to get as much you can up to the back corner before, after your second backward jeté and the glissade jeté to the back corner. And now it should really travel. You can travel on the first brisée. Maybe you can travel a little bit on the ballonnet. Of course, on the jeté, it's more a turn, yes. And now you travel on your glissade. Yes. I go. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2. Yes. Yes. Yes, two things. Now on your jeté, this one we say is your preparation. Don't look away, because that throws you a little bit off your balance, or could. So make sure, yes, you're already there, prepared for your, yes, to go into your pirouette. And now, when you are doing it absolutely right. I think you can turn a bit more from your ballonnet, and then the jeté. Make sure you really get now half turn. Yeah, that you really get there. Ba-bam. 1, 2, there. Yes. And the ballonnet really sharp, because this is a very revealing position. So we need to see that coup de pied behind really pointed. Point, yeah. 1, yes. You know, I think you are thinking in your jeté, it almost looks like you think to go through a fifth. Because I see a moment where you flex your foot, like you want from the ballonnet to go through fifth into a jeté, but it's not. You come, that pointed foot just comes out in the jeté. There is no, yes, you keep it pointed.
Okay.
So don't think that you have to do through fifths.
Okay.
Mm. 1, 2, 3, better. Yes. Okay, it's really hard now, but it was right. The more you think of keeping that foot pointed, because that's what we see when you have the back to the audience, yes, then we will see if you, so keep it really, yes, that's it, yes. So it really comes out pointed, and then you turn. You turn on the landing. Don't think already to start to turn when you prepare that jeté. Yeah, yes. I know you might be practicing with another head, so it's hard to get it all in right away, but you're pretty good, I must say. Okay, take a deep breath and try to do it again. Yeah? Yes. And 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2. Yes. Yes. Good. I think a little trick for you to think about is your shoulders when you do that last diagonal. No, I'm thinking actually of the diagonal, yes. First you are like in opposition with the first, you're like this, yes, you open your right shoulder. Now your shoulder go on the diagonal, here, yes. Now the next one, bring your left shoulder really, that's right, that you think of opening that left shoulder. And then the glissade is just changing the heads. There, yeah, you see, you now you're thinking so much that you have to, yes, then you don't get far enough around with that left shoulder. That's it, yes. All right, you just say, I mean, now I'm just going on and on, you say if you just need to, a little rest to shake your legs and stretch your calf.
My body is good. It's the when you practice one coordination and one kind of, you know, chain of movement through the body, and just it seems so simple, so subtle. The change of head, the different épaulements. Just rewiring takes a second. My body, physically, I'm great. Mentally,
Good.
There must be a, you know, short circuit somewhere.
No, but I mean, I tell you, normally, I mean, if I'm working with a company and all these corrections, then I'm not expecting that everybody's doing it right away. I mean, then normally you will have a day to digest it. And then maybe the next day because it does take time to come from here and then down in the body. And especially if certain of the movements are not like how you usually do. then it just takes a little longer to get it all from the head into the legs. I think you're doing really well.
I appreciate that.
It was a lot of information, a lot of information. I mean, the basic was really good because you had learned it very well. So, I mean, both very good for you, and Yuh Egami, you have been coaching very well also, I must say. And then I know that actually you have had another Bournonville teacher in your past when you were in the working with Ib Anderson. Jack, yes?
Yes, that's
who
correct.
were a colleague of mine for many years in the Royal Danish Ballet. So I can see you have a basic understanding of the style. And that's why I'm able to go so much into the details, which is actually the hardest. Because, I mean, the big lines you can learn, but all these little details, that's sort of the really sort of the petite work. That is, but that's also what gives it the final flavor of the style. And in a way, in the end, that gives the enjoyment also of doing that particular solo, knowing that it has all these characteristics in opposition to other solos. I mean, everyone has its little flavor, and it's so nice to find them.
Yeah,
and there's so many ways to do a glissade and to do a jeté and to do so that's what's the fun thing about styles.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I think one thing that's so special about working with you or working with Ib is, you know, our art form, ballet, it's a oral tradition and it's passed down from different generations, and, you know, with a style like Bournonville, it's all these little details, the minutiae, like you said, that make it special and that make it different from anything else. And I think it's really important to, as you mentioned, to respect that and try to keep it as authentic as possible. Of course, we keep evolving the art form, but Bournonville is Bournonville, Balanchine, or whatever style you're doing. And I think that's why it's very special to work with an authority that has such a clear understanding of the steps and the true language.
I'm very happy to hear that. It sounds like nice music in my ears. Because
keep going.
Of course, you do know that it's a living tradition. I know that too. I mean, of course, the dancers of today, we don't dance like they did in 1800s. Things have changed. Also, the body type, the basic training, everything, and that's what's also exciting about the Bournonville tradition. That it is sort of changing by the generation to generation. But what I think is important, and you said it also so well, that you still sort of keep the link with the former generation, and that you learn it from someone who then learned it from someone who learned it from someone, and I mean, then we are back to Bournonville in a way. That unbroken chain of living tradition from teacher to teacher, from dancer to dancer, and it changes a little bit, but there are certain things that still stays, and that is important, that my teacher was emphasizing those things, and I'm now continuing that by emphasizing that to the next generation, and I think that's what's so fascinating.
Yeah.
And then you add your own personality to it. I mean, so a little bit different. And I mean, of course, there should be room also for that. But there are certain things that makes the style. And then within that, there is a range where you can still add your way of dancing, your way of interpreting.
Yeah, and I think for me, what is really fun about dancing Bournonville is I'm a bit of an analytical person, and I feel like it's kind of business on the bottom and then party on top. I mean, you have to be so precise with the footwork, but when I watch the great male Danes that have tackled the different roles, you see the freedom of the upper body while there's such a purity of line in the leg. And I think for a dance form that's a couple hundred years old now, it's still challenging in 2021, so it's a real treat to try to tackle something that, well, it's just very difficult and very fun at the same time.
Yeah, and I think you really hit the head of the nail there by saying this about, well, the legs, what goes from here and down, the precision, and that has to be really accurate. Also the musicality of it, the definition of directions and positions, and then in opposition to that, the more, in a way, more free upper body, but still gracious, still with, I mean, if you read what Bournonville wanted, he wanted it to look harmonious, to look effortless, and to look joyful. I mean, it's like it should express the joy of dance, a certain freedom, but it still has to have a form. It has to have lines. So it's not a freedom where you can just throw your arms where you want them to be because you feel free as long as the legs are doing the right thing. There is still also some kind of aesthetics that then has to, within that you can feel a freedom. And that takes a time to get to that. I mean, that you know it so well that you can start to be free with it in a way.
Yeah, of course. And I think the other, and I apologize for maybe going off on a tangent, but the other thing that is so interesting about the style to me is that there's aside from the dancing, there's a clarity to the pantomime as well. I think I think a lot of dancers have lost a little bit the understanding of how to speak naturally, and I think when you really look, at least when I was kind of coached, I know we're not doing any pantomime today, but a purity of talking to someone else and yeah, I think that's it also, as a style of dance, has a very interesting way of communicating, you know, you here, why are you crying, and with the sylph, and it's very touching for me.
You're right. This is the other very important factor of the Bournonville tradition. It is a mime that is almost a lost art form in the ballet, and that's why it's very important. I mean, through the Bournonville ballets, it is still alive, and that is it has the same aesthetics in a way as the variations and the dance, because also there your arm movements has to have a certain form and a musicality and accentuation, so one understands what it is, and at the same time it should not be affection. I mean I don't know if that's the right word, but like it becomes artificial, I think maybe, that you just do gesture and it looks artificial. It has to have the meaning. I mean, you have to know what you're saying and to do express it, as you say, to do it the natural way, so it doesn't become just poses. And in a way, it's the same with the variation you just did. I mean, it could be a lot of just poses, and if you're just thinking of oh, there is a pose, and I just need to jump high or to, then it's also how it's all connected. It's the connection between the steps that makes the Bournonville style special, because it's not just some big jumps, but it's how you get into the jump, how you get out of the jump. All this is also making the style. And it's in a way the same with the pantomime. Well, it would be nice another time to do a coaching session on pantomime, I think. But that was not the issue today, I know.
No, I understand. I just thought it was, when speaking about Bournonville, meant to bring up. And I can actually, through the screen, even see you. There's this movement with the body, a very natural movement, and the hands are, I think it's kind of a simple way of speaking and from the heart, and sometimes I think that's a little bit lost nowadays, that there's not, people just kind of throw a hand out and they don't really know what, but there, with the Bournonville aesthetic, there's a real speaking honestly, human to human from the heart, which I find very endearing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lovely. It is. Well, I mean, I don't know if we are supposed to do anything more dance-wise. I mean, I think I have given so much of all the little details, so I would love to come back tomorrow and see you do it again when you have digested it. But, well, I hope we will have a possibility to meet. The dance world is small, as we say. So hopefully this was not the last time. If there is anything you want from me now, I'm here available to answer questions.
No, I think for me, like I mentioned earlier, it's a role that I tackled a number of years ago, and we've just been kind of playing around, having some fun in the studio to Of course, this has been a crazy year, and I think
Yes.
artistic directors all over the world are trying to find ways to keep the dancers engaged and working at a high level. So I think that was the idea behind Sepsim's challenge to me, to put this solo together so quickly and then show someone with so much authority on it. But no, I think what I'm most happy about is I think I've learned a few new things. You know, this way about the glissade, this jeté, but also just things that maybe have been said, but you know, have maybe been a little bit forgotten or are a little bit cloudy. But speaking to you, it's a ray of sunshine, and it kind of makes everything illuminates the dance. So I just yeah, I'm just happy that hopefully in the future I'll be able to dance this again, and then be able to take these little kernels of wisdom with me.
Yeah.
Good.
We were talking as we were doing this preparation process, me and Jack, we both sort of learned it before, but then it still is. We see this solo being danced everywhere in the world, in the competitions, and we're talking about how different versions that they're dancing on the international competitions, and we're like, oh, this opportunity today is great to sort of analyze and really learn the essential information from you, and I hope that this would be a great source for the next generation also to learn about this solo further. So we are very delighted that to be able to share this opportunity with you, but also with everyone. This is the great thing about virtual.
Yes.
It's just, like I said, a pleasure to work with you today, and like I said, I'm going to keep everything you said, put that in my pocket, and take that with me going forward. And thank you so much for making the time today. It's really a privilege for me.
It's certainly been a pleasure to get to know both of you, and hopefully it's not the last time we have been together.
Yes, thank you so much again, Dina. It's been so lovely to have you and work with you today.
Yeah.
It's absolutely, it's a
I
treasure
wish you
experience.
I wish you good luck with the continuation, and
Yes,
hopefully
and same
the
to
world will
you.
still
I know.
open up, that we can travel and meet each other
Yes.
live and not only digital.
Yes, cannot wait. Thank you so much again, and thank you, audience, and we hope to see everyone on a live performance very soon. Yeah, thank you, Dina,
Yes.
again, and
Thank you.
have a
Bye-bye.
great day. Bye-bye.